In today's video, we're going to continue our Top Prospect Report series where we cover all 31 NHL teams, complete an in-depth analysis on their complete prospect pool, including a summary of their full 2018 NHL Draft selections. And we also have a special guest joining us today to discuss the Vancouver Canucks. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, today's team we're covering for the Prospect Report series here is the Vancouver Canucks, and we have a special guest joining us. A lot of you Canuck fans will likely already recognize him, but if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to check out his channel. He goes by LegoRocks99. He does a lot of hockey videos just like I do, mainly covers the Vancouver Canucks, but he does cover other teams and other players as well. So certainly go check him out if you're not already subscribed to his channel. His link will be down below in the description. So how we're going to do today's video, a little bit different than some of our other Prospect Report videos. We are going to cover the top 6 Canuck prospects, and we're going to count them down from 6 down to 1, and we're going to take turns discussing prospects. So to get us started here discussing the number 6 ranked Canuck prospect, I'm going to hand it over to LegoRocks99 to get us going.
Alright, sounds good. Thanks for having me on here, Mike. I'm LegoRocks99. A lot of Canucks fans probably know who I am, most likely. Maybe so. But we're starting things right off here with number 6. And what we have on our list is Olli Juolevi. Now, Juolevi is a player who a lot of people really kind of harp on a little bit because he was taken in that 5th overall spot back in 2016 by the Canucks, and he was taken over guys like Matthew Tkachuk and a few other NHL-ready defensemen such as Jacob Chychrun. So, Juolevi has been in a position where he's been placed with all these expectations, and the fact that he hasn't made the NHL yet is concerning to a few NHL viewers. But at the same time, he's still a prospect who is young, and playing in the TPS in the most recent 17-18 hockey season, he spent his entire season as a 20-year-old doing really well and developing under defensive coach Sami Salo. So Juolevi is a guy who definitely still has top 4 potential and will be looking to make an impact going forward for the Canucks. At 20 years old, he's still got a lot of room to grow, and with 19 points in 38 games played for the TPS last season, he's certainly on the right track. Sure, he might not have deserved to have been drafted 5th overall by some people's standards, but he's a Vancouver Canuck, and this is all we gotta deal with right now.
As the 5th ranked prospect on our list here, we have Jonathon Dahlen. Now, of course, as you probably remember, Jonathon Dahlen was originally a 2nd round pick back in 2016 of the Ottawa Senators. Obviously, he was traded to the Vancouver Canucks in the Alex Burrows trade. So I think we can safely say the Canucks won that trade. Burrows didn't really work out in Ottawa, was just recently bought out and in a sense retired to become an assistant coach in the American Hockey League. So the Canucks are looking pretty good on that trade so far. Jonathon Dahlen's not an overly big player. He's around 5'11", 180 pounds, but what he might be lacking in size, he's certainly not lacking in offensive abilities as well as hard work and heart. Obviously, Jonathon Dahlen's been playing over in Sweden the past couple seasons, putting up about a point per game clip, getting all kinds of recognition over there, and he's certainly ready to transition his game over to North America here and jump into the Canucks system, either at the NHL or AHL level. Jonathon Dahlen's a very creative and dangerous offensive player. He's got great vision. He can handle the puck at high speed, great stick handler, has an uncanny knack to get open and break away from his check to create scoring opportunities in the offensive zone. So I think Jonathon Dahlen certainly brings a lot of offense to the Canucks. What Jonathon Dahlen lacks in size, he certainly makes up with heart and offensive abilities. Now, it's more than likely, I would think Jonathon Dahlen might start off in the American Hockey League here. I don't think that's going to last too long. A little bit of seasoning, and he's yet another offensively gifted Canuck forward who can jump into their lineup and make an impact.
Moving back over to number 4 on this list, we have ourselves Adam Gaudet. Gaudet is a player who's on fire. He's on top of the world right now. 60 total points in 38 NCAA games led him to becoming the best player in the NCAA this past season. He was drafted in 2015, so this is a year before Juolevi, this is the Besser year, and nowadays, Gaudet is in a position where he's really starting to solidify himself as a professional talent. He played with the Vancouver Canucks at the end of the season after finishing up his Northeastern run with the playoffs, and now he's got all the room in the world to grow and develop his pro game. As a 5th-round pick, nobody really expected too much out of Gaudet, but playing through the Northeastern University Huskies program, he really developed his game, and he became one of the strongest players that program has ever seen. And now, stepping into the Vancouver Canucks training camp, he's definitely challenging for a spot going into 2018-2019. Gaudet is a really smart player, and a lot of the plays that he made at the end of 2017-18 with the Vancouver Canucks just weren't perceived well by his teammates. He had a lot of good breakout passes, a lot of nifty dangling opportunities that he executed perfectly, but when he tried to pass it off to a teammate or send it out in front, nobody would be there. He needs smart players beside him to do well, because he's shown that he himself has that great hockey IQ that every great player possesses.
The number 3 ranked prospect for the Vancouver Canucks, we have goaltender Thatcher Demco. I think there's a pretty good possibility here that Thatcher Demco may very well be the goaltender of the future that the Vancouver Canucks so desperately need. Thatcher Demco came through the NCAA playing for Boston College. In his last couple seasons there, he did absolutely phenomenal. Like, for example, his last season, he had a 1.88 goals against average and a save percentage of .935. It was absolutely outstanding playing for Boston College. So far, he's gotten his feet wet here in pro hockey, played mostly in the American Hockey League, and he's put up some pretty decent stats there as well. You could say Thatcher Demco plays like a modified butterfly goaltending type of style, draws some comparison to a goalie, kind of like a Pekka Rinne. He has great lateral movements, he's very athletic, usually has pretty good rebound control as well. So I think Thatcher Demco, with some more experience here at the American Hockey League level and kind of easing his way into the NHL, certainly projects to have the possibility here to be a high-end goaltender for the Canucks long term.
Our second last name on this list is Quinn Hughes. Now, Hughes is a no-brainer. He's a name that a lot of people, myself included, just screamed out yes because of upon hearing his name drafted at the NHL Draft. He was drafted in 2018, 7th overall, and now, coming into a training camp that's got a weak defensive core, Hughes legitimately has a shot at making the Canucks. And this is crazy to think about. The fact that he was playing in college just last season, and now he's in a spot where he could be potentially making the Canucks and dominating with his amazing skill set that he possesses. He's definitely a guy with flair. He's got that flash. He's got that quick skating, high offensive awareness, and he's definitely in a position to make a huge splash if he makes the NHL. If he goes back to Michigan, that's okay too, because that will be good for his development. If he signs a contract, he'll be coming in, either playing with the Canucks or the Utica Comets, and he'll definitely find his way with the puck, because he's just so skilled. And Hughes is definitely the player that I wanted, per se, going into the Vancouver Canucks NHL Draft, and now he's ours.
Our number 1 ranked prospect for the Vancouver Canucks should come at not much of a surprise, and that's the Swedish superstar Elias Pettersson. Obviously, Pettersson's been breaking records over in the SHL recently, had a tremendous year, really grew his development significantly over the past couple of seasons here, had a tremendous showing at the World Junior Championships this past winter as well, recently signed his pro contract, and he's ready to roll and join the Vancouver Canucks. I have no doubts at all that Pettersson will make the lineup here at a training camp and become a fixture on this Canucks roster for years to come. When it comes to his offensive game, Elias Pettersson really does everything well. He's got high-end speed, high-end acceleration, he's got a great shot, he's a great stick handler, great vision, really smart hockey player, fairly responsible on the defensive side of the game as well. The Vancouver Canucks really got themselves a gem here in Elias Pettersson. I can just imagine what this Canucks power play could look like in the future here when you have guys like Brock Besser and Bo Horvat already there. You throw in a defenseman like a Quinn Hughes like we just discussed, and then another weapon here like Elias Pettersson. The Canucks really are stocked with a lot of great NHL prospects. The only knock on Elias Pettersson really is a lot of people say he's too thin, not strong enough. I mean, he's 6'2", around 188 pounds. I really don't see him as being overly weak. Could he be a little bit stronger, have a little bit more muscle on him? Absolutely. It's not going to hurt him any. But with a guy that's so fast as him, he really relies on his speed and his offensive instincts. I really don't see his size being an issue moving forward. But I'm sure the Canucks are going to continue to work with him here to kind of help build his strength, which will only help improve his game. The stronger he is, the better he'll be able to protect the puck and kind of keep the offense going here with Vancouver. So I'm sure that's something that's going to be worked on, but I really don't see it as a problem to kick off here his NHL career. So the Vancouver Canucks have a potential franchise player, I think, in Elias Pettersson. And if you look at some of the records he's broken, the players that held him previously, they were some pretty big superstar type players. So I think the sky's the limit for Pettersson, and looking forward to getting him into a Canucks lineup to see what he can do. Next up, I want to do a quick summary of all the other 2018 NHL Draft selections made by the Vancouver Canucks here. Obviously, we already discussed their top pick this year, who was our second highest ranked prospect in the system, and that was Quinn Hughes. So now I'm going to put up a graphic here across the screen where you can take a look at the full summary of their Canuck prospects taken in the 2018 Draft, and we'll talk through here and see what else they were able to select. With their second selection, number 37 overall, they took another defenseman, this time from the WHL Moose Jaw Warriors, Jet Woo. I mean, if nothing else, you gotta love that name. I can just imagine hearing his name called at the NHL level when he scores a goal. That's going to be tremendous. But in all seriousness, he is a very solid defenseman. He was one of the players who could have been possibly a first-round pick. I thought he might have gone a little bit higher. I think the Canucks were quite fortunate to grab him at the spot they did with number 37. Now, at the third round, number 68th overall, they took a center out of the USHL from the Tri-City Storm, Tyler Madden. They did not have a fourth-round selection, so their next selection was in the fifth round, number 130 overall. They took a defenseman out of Finland, Toni Jutonen. Next up in the sixth round, number 186 overall, they took a forward out of the Russian juniors, and his name is Artem Manukyan. Their last selection in the seventh round, number 192 overall, out of the MJHL, they took themselves another goaltender, Matthew Thiessen. So overall, a pretty well-rounded draft by the Vancouver Canucks. They get themselves 3 defensemen, a goaltender, and a couple of forwards. So they really did kind of select the best player available at most of these draft selections. Obviously, early on, they get themselves a couple of really solid defensemen. Obviously, Quinn Hughes is certainly a big step above Jet Woo, but still, Jet Woo is no slouch and is fully projected to be an NHL player here in the next couple of years. Obviously, with all these great forwards the Canucks have stocked either in their lineup already or on the way, you throw in some of these top defensemen. We talked about a potential goalie of the future. This Canuck team really could be a powerhouse in the next 2 to 3 seasons. That would not surprise me at all. They have a ton of talent, and all these recent years of heartache could turn to fortune here before you know it, and it could be one of the forces to be reckoned with here in the NHL before too long. Now, if you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, so if there's all kinds of hockey content here for all fans to enjoy. And like I said before, if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out LegoRocks99. He puts out great hockey content as well. Mostly covers the Canucks, but he covers a lot of other interesting prospects and other teams as well. So make sure you check him out and subscribe. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.